The burnt egg roll.
We actually had at that point the longest winning streak in the nation, right behind the Illini, that 05-06 year. Like that was that year that Illini made the national championship. So we were literally right there with them. Like it was a special year, man. And we had played them the year before. I got worked out by Luther Head.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I was looking at some of your stats earlier today, and I did see that game, the Illinois game, but they didn't have the box score for that one. But what was that experience like? Could you feel like the difference playing D2 to playing against like a D1 team like that, or you felt like, man, if we had time to prepare and we like practice, we could get them in a 5-game series maybe, or a 7-game series?
Not that Illini team, bro. I mean, they had Luther Head at the 3. They had Darren at the 2. I think D Brown was running the 1, and then they rounded it out with Roger Powell, who was a monster. I mean, he was like my height, but he was at least 240, 250. I mean, in college, I mean, it was all muscle, so it wasn't fat. I mean, it was all muscle. And then at the 5 they had Augustine, who had game. I mean, they're some would argue in that 2005 2006 game, championship game, like the calls that didn't go our way were kind of suspect, and they were on Augustine against Sean May that year. But anyway, it was really one of those things where you saw the difference in level. And nothing, I mean, I think JB could have played D1, I think Ty could have played D1, but high D1, like you just like the way that, so thinking about this, I think JB was actually guarding Darren. And you just saw him like, man, okay, he's got game, but you just saw the differences in speed and the change of pace. And like, I'm like, oh, okay. So
it's a different level.
Yeah, you're like, okay, because like, you don't always see that, because especially too when you're younger, like the playing field, it's not, I mean, everybody's not developed. I mean, these dudes were on their way to the NBA. I think D Brown ended up staying an additional year because I think he was 1 year behind those guys. But that year, Darren went round 1. Luther Head went round 1. I think Robert Hall went like low deep round 2. I mean, like 3 of the 5 starters went, in the NBA draft. And so as a kid, you're like, yeah, I want to play in the NBA. I can play in the NBA. Like you're thinking D2, like I think I can still do it. And then you see, because at the D2 level, like there is scouts in the stands sometimes. I mean, there's a couple of D1 guys that kind of go down D2. And
of course. Yeah. There's some D2 guys that are doing well in the NBA.
Yeah, exactly. So I saw that and I was like, yeah, these dudes got us. I mean, I'm not gonna say I was intimidated, but I just realized like I can't do what I used to. Like I can't do what I typically do on the D2 level. Like I'm sizing up, Luther, and my typical move, I go this way, I come back. Like he's there. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do. Or like when I try to get a dude on my hip, like I'm trying to do my thing. I'm like, oh, he's strong. Like, So it's just like, yeah, you learn pretty quick. Like, I don't think we could have got those dudes in 5 games. I think it would have been 0-5.